在上一期节目中，我们驱车从中国穿越哈萨克斯坦，一路行驶到了俄罗斯的首都莫斯科，完成了整个旅途一半的路程。而接下来，我们将穿过拉脱维亚、波兰、捷克等多个国家，直到抵达我们最后的终点——罗马。那同时，剩下2期内容将由我们商业组的另外一位编导怀古来接棒完成。那他其实是我们公司最早的编导之一，之前做过摄影测量、激光雷达扫描等很多期影视飓风节目。但是有一说一，他可能是我见过影视飓风里面最爱吃的编导。虽然共事的时候我没能带他吃上什么好吃的，但这一趟去罗马的旅途，相信他会有不少收获。
我们这一期节目叫做开车去罗马，但是潘子在给我这个节目的时候，他忽略了一个问题，就是我不会开车，所以我打算把这期节目改成坐车去罗马。理想同学，打开副驾座椅按摩。没问题。好，出发。
这是世界上最大的半封闭海域之一——波罗的海。它自古以来就是欧洲重要的交通和贸易路线。而我们影视飓风小队现在正处于波罗的海的核心地区，那就是拉脱维亚的首都里加。里加有着超过800年的历史，早在中世纪这里的贸易活动就已经十分繁荣，所以我们可以看到大量的中世纪建筑汇聚在里加的老城区。行在老城狭窄而蜿蜒的石板路上，我们仿佛穿越回了那个骑士还有商人并存的时代。这里曾经是传说中琥珀之路的关键位置，在古代，琥珀被赋予了神秘的宗教色彩，有无数商人不远万里来到这里，只为交易这种备受珍视的宝石。所以这一次，我们联系了一家世代经营琥珀生意的老店，店主 George 非常热情地拿出了他珍藏的琥珀。那接下来，我们可以透过微距镜头来感受一下这如同虎目一般明亮的有机宝石——琥珀。
我们的这个店主说他可以给我们推荐餐馆，这个就很带劲了。他给我们推荐了这家餐馆。Is this traditional Latvian food? Like
it's not traditional, it's medieval.
Medieval 哦，这是一家中世纪的那种食物，这个好带劲啊！对，然后他说这里所有东西都是来自13世纪的。就是他在重建顶上的一些东西的时候，发现这里还有一个建筑，所以它其实不是像我刚刚想象，这是一个开了700年的餐厅，它并不是这样，它以前是一个酒窖，然后可能会有一些人会来这里开点 party， 但后来重新发现这里以后，才把它改成了这样的一个餐厅。这个厕所都是来自13世纪的啊，虽然他们现在换了这个现代的马桶，但是吧，这个含金量还是很猛的。
肉类是中世纪餐厅绝对的主角。那根据怀古所说，比较遗憾的就是这里的烤肉和炖肉，说真的不怎么多汁，嚼起来会有点干巴巴的。那好在这里谷物应该是加了肉汁，组合起来倒还是挺香的。就着这个古老的木桌子用餐，还是一定程度上让我们感受到了这家中世纪餐厅独有的魅力。说实话，里加可能是我们团队目前总结出来最适合 City Walk 的地方。这里有许多好看的中世纪欧洲建筑，还有苏联时期的建筑。如果你也有来这里旅行的打算，我们会非常推荐大家租一个像这样的小滑板车，就迎着阳光穿行在这个道加瓦河的两岸，真的很舒服。你还可以乘坐公共交通环游里加。而就在我们体验传统电车的时候，一段中文钻进了我们的耳朵。
你会说中文？
你是在拉脱维亚？
We actually drive a car from China all the way to here.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, 没想到。
我们刚刚坐一个很传统的电车，然后就遇到了这位帅哥，然后他会说中文，你知道吗？真的很震惊。然后我们现在要去一家咖啡店，一起聊一聊，聊聊天。It's working. Which country do you want to go? Like
The most?
The most?
Bro, I want to go to China so much, dude. Before I started my linguistics degree in English, when I had to choose the language, and like literally, I went to the dean's office and they were like, okay, if you take Chinese, we will let you go to China in like 6 months. I was like, China, bro. At that time, dude, I was playing like computer games and everything. I was like, I'm gonna go to China, get in a team. I will play CS or something, Tai Lu and everything. I was like, I'm gonna go. I'll speak Chinese. I'm making these Chinese propaganda videos where I put music on, bro, and I show Chinese cities. I edit this shit myself. I go to my university, and then I show this to my friends, and we're like, China number one.
在和 Norman 的聊天中，他向我们推荐了一个海边的旅行胜地，叫做尤尔马拉。所以接下来我们打算开车接上 Norman， 一起去体验一下。哇！ You also have a camera?
Yeah, I took my GoPro. Hi. Yo,
Yeah.
Look at this. Dude, as I was coming here, you can notice the car from a mile away. It's so huge. Oh, there's two. Yo, there's two.
Yeah, we got two cars.
Bro, the car.
The car,
Fenda.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna show you the most important function. 理想同学开启皇后座。It's gonna work. Feel here, feel this. Yeah, you can put your feet
Look
over
at that.
there.
Bro. I've never seen this happen in the car.
It's unoriginal and pretty cynical to think you're playing a game that's unwinnable.
我们现在在尤尔马拉的海岸，然后本来这里是一个不是有特别多中国游客来的地方吧，然后那边突然出现了一个老哥在打太极。What? Are you behind him?
I've never seen anyone do Tai Chi outside, especially on the beach like that. You're good lucky.
尤尔马拉算是拉脱维亚最有名的海滨城市，这里有延绵33公里的白色沙滩，每年夏天都有大量的欧洲游客来到这里度假。这里同时也是 Norman 最喜欢来的地方。
You know, the first time I went to a Viennese, like an Austrian club, it turned out that it's a Chinese club. And you know what the first Chinese song they started playing? You know what the song was?
What is that?
Hey, 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 你是我的宝贝.
That's so crazy.
It was so funny.
Hey, hey, hey.
你是我的宝贝，
想你的滋味，
人作祟，宝贝宝贝。回想起来，我们经历的每一段旅途都像是一场奇遇，而在这奇遇之中，能与文化背景完全不同的陌生人成为朋友，是我认为最为宝贵的事情。我们在交流中学习，在倾听中成长。当然，每段奇遇都有结尾。告别了 Norman， 我们还要继续朝着终点进发。驾驶着理想 L9 穿过拉脱维亚的原始森林，经过8小时666公里的行驶，我们终于在夜幕降临之际来到了波兰的中心华沙。华沙是一座承载着厚重历史与坚韧精神的城市。1939年，德军闪击波兰，第二次世界大战爆发。二战末期，波兰首都华沙遭受到了重创。在这场浩劫之中，整个老城几乎被夷为平地。而在战后的20年间，波兰人民排除万难，奇迹般地复原出了整个华沙古城。这一次，我们打算拿着事先收集好的黑白老照片去探寻现在的建筑，亲眼对比它们1比1还原的样貌。第一站，我们找到了一家老照相馆，希望从这里获得一些线索。
Yeah. I think it's this building is Prudential. Perhaps it's this.
老师说他可能知道这个建筑是什么，好像叫 Prudential.
You can see this.
Yeah, it looks really similar. Like the top here. It's exactly the same, I think.
It's the same.
Yeah, it is the same. 那个老哥一下就看出来了，就跟我说是这个。
他是怎么能一下就认出来这个？
对，有点厉害的。
四零在数窗户了，
确实，这个线
就是这个，就是中间这一块，
在这个角度它是对得上的，而且对得特别的好。我们再找一次机会吧。当然，只是简单的实景和照片对应并不足够，我们还想了解这些照片背后的故事，所以我们找到了过去波兰驻中国大使馆的领事阿都，来为我们聊聊这其中的故事。
第二次世界大战的就是那个全华沙的面积大概有85%左右，都被德国那个军队就destroy。
Yes。
第二次世界大战结束之前，波兰的一些科学家，他们已经打算大战结束后，他们要重建全部的华沙，所以他们就是慢慢也拍照片，也做一些设计呢，因为他们知道可能就以后就没有照片，没有设计，他们就没有办法重建那些所有的那个楼呢。
所以现在的古城，它其实还有一部分是用的以前的一些材料，是吗？就是有以前的。
是，因为他们的有些楼虽然是爆炸了，但是在下边一部分的砖头都还可以使用呢。
阿都为我们分享了华沙古城是如何重建的，而除了阿都，我们还遇到了一位曾经参与过重建的工程师老爷爷。老爷爷年近80，还在华沙拥有2幢楼，在本可以退休养老的年纪，他却选择经营一间胶片冲洗店。
I and my friends living here collect all photo. If we come in contact with anybody who live this area in Old Town or something like that, do you have any photos from this area? Please bring us. So we do scan. We do scan on it and print it. We save our story. And many people coming here, let the people don't forget how it has been before. Because when you see, you can get remember.
不仅如此，老爷爷还为我们介绍了他所参与重建的建筑。建筑上精美的雕塑象征着家庭和睦、勤俭节约，这也是他一辈子奉行的准则。而就在走到街角时，我们再一次遇到了照片里的那幢高楼。
Okay, and here is also very, very fine building on the corner, just on the right hand.
Yes,
I saw that one. Hotel Warsaw now, but it was before Second World War, the biggest insurance company, Prudential.
Yeah, I know. I actually
You know that. About it?
Yes. This one.
Yes.
This one.
Yes. Now that's the Prudential.
How do you feel when you see these like old pictures like this?
That's a good idea to remember.
Yeah.
What had been, what happens, when the war coming to the country.
Yeah.
Usually, people think that when they fight with other people, they can earn more areas and they feel more strong and so and so. But this shows us that it's not only one possibility. Other possibility is total destroyed everything.
这些与当地人的对话让我们逐渐明白波兰人对于华沙古城的神圣情感，那是一种深埋骨髓、流淌在血液中的热爱。同时我们也听到了他们对于战争的思考，这些从历史伤痛中磨砺出的智慧结晶，是波兰民族对于和平无比珍视的根源所在。在老爷爷的指引下，我们尽可能找了更多老照片所对应的位置，希望能为你更好地呈现华沙这座从废墟之中浴火重生的不屈之城。 Hello, sir. Please follow us, okay?
Okay.
Follow our car, okay?
Okay.
你把音乐停了，你把音乐停了。
我靠，是音乐版权的问题吗？
对，音乐版权，你不能播放，在这个国家不能播放超过15秒的。心跳加速了，被警察抓了。
他这警察居然是便衣警察，你看到没
Hello.
？May I ask?
Federal police from Germany.
Okay. May I ask what for?
What for? It's the border control.
Okay.
We
It's
made
a
our
border.
decision when you cross the border at the bridge where the traffic lights were,
Yeah.
and we followed you right here because we lost you a couple of times. I would like to see from every passenger the passports.
Okay.
From you, sir, I would like to see your driver's license
Sure.
and your car. Okay.
I see.
真的吗？真的。你护照在另外一辆车上。他在另外一辆。
真在那个，
真在那辆车上。
我操，有点尴尬。
我把包放那辆车上了。害怕不？刚刚警察查了我们一堆的证件以后，把我们放行了。然后他这边提醒我们的一点就是说，在德国这边，它的城镇道路的限速是50公里每小时，然后城镇以外非高速的区域是100公里每小时的限速，所以大家注意行车安全。随着汽车驶离华沙，广袤的乡村景色映入眼帘，郁郁葱葱的树林和蜿蜒起伏的小路仿佛构成了一幅宁静的田园画卷。我们在夜色中赶路，在古老的街道里行驶，直到远方的城堡和教堂塔尖若隐若现时，我们就来到了这千塔之城布拉格。既然布拉格号称千塔之城，我们过来第一件想要做的事情就是登上这里的城市最高点，看看风景如何。虽然因为天气不佳，我们没能拍到想要的画面，但是却遇上了这样一帮伙计。Where are you from, guys?
He's from Switzerland.
Well, I'm from Switzerland. They're from Germany.
Oh, that's very beautiful. These two countries. We haven't been there, but we were going there.
What are you guys doing? Like?
Oh, actually, we have YouTube account.
No
we're
fucking way.
YouTube influencer, maybe. Our channel is called Media Storm. It's a Chinese
Bro, they are
platform.
fucking famous. Oh my god.
This is a review for iPhone 16.
You already had the iPhone 16.
Yeah, this is iPhone 16 Pro. Yeah. And our boss gave each one of us one. Like we have 100 people in our company, and he got 100 iPhone to give us.
Holy fucking shit, bro. See, they always say
we have to move to China.
Yeah, bro. They always say like those are Germans and I'm from Switzerland. They always like, you're the rich guy, you know? Nah, bro. I need to go to fucking China.
We have a very interesting hero shot. I'm gonna show you.
Look at this.
We have special effects.
Bro, that is crazy work.
Videos.
Bro, those 20-30 seconds we just saw, bro, those hours of work.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I will, as soon as I go home, I'm probably gonna, instead of doing TikTok brain rotting, I'm gonna watch your videos and and hopefully learn something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you doing this for work or are you just like right now, like your holidays here in Prague, like going to Europe
it's a
and
work.
everything?
It's a work.
This is all for, you're getting paid for this.
Yeah. And we drive the car, 2 cars from China to here, almost over 20 days. And our final destination is gonna be Rome in Italy.
Bro, I need to say Italy is very close to Switzerland. I might be biased when I say this, but Switzerland is a little bit more beautiful. I don't know.
We are actually going to Switzerland.
Holy
Zurich.
shit. No fucking way. But Zurich is not, you need to go to the mountain.
Yeah. We're going
really need to.
How do you say 马特洪峰 in English? Do you know? There's
Matterhorn.
Yeah. There we go.
Of course, brother. I'm from there. I know.
Yeah.
But you're doing this just for work. Do you not go enjoy the nightlife a bit or something?
Yeah.
Not on camera.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
We are gonna go to the strip club later.
理想同学介绍一下德沃夏克。
德沃夏克，全名安东·利奥波德·德沃夏克，是19世纪下半叶捷克著名的音乐家。 他自幼显示出音乐才能。1857年至1859年在布拉格风琴学校学习，毕业后在捷克临时剧院乐队工作。
我们觉得到了布拉格非常不容错过的就是捷克的音乐，于是今天我们就要在布拉格国家剧院里面听一听抒情大师德沃夏克为歌剧《魔鬼与凯特》创作的一组曲子。给大家看一下，我们是一个包厢，然后后面还有其他人一起，有点小尴尬。就感觉这里的人对待歌剧是真的非常非常严肃，就他们会穿那种正装，女生穿礼服，男生穿西装，打领带、皮鞋。对，哇，我们两个人这个Storm Crew 穿一穿。当音乐会的最后一个音符在空气中消散，在这余韵悠长的时刻，我们恍然发觉德沃夏克的旋律好像一首专门为布拉格谱写的序曲，旋律中的庄重典雅与磅礴气势，就好像布拉格横跨伏尔塔瓦河的雄伟桥梁，连接着城市的过去与现在。所以我们在想，或许可以用德沃夏克的音乐带大家一起走进这布拉格的千塔画卷。辞别布拉格的塔尖森林，我们继续向前方驶去。在下一期节目中，我们一行人将沿着一条德国的不限速公路，以最快的速度驶入慕尼黑。紧接着，我们将一路南下，途经瑞士，欣赏欧洲屋脊的湖光山色，最后抵达本次旅途的终点——意大利古城罗马。